seen people get addicted to bad things, like alcohol or drugs. And I've seen it, and it makes me sad to see, somebody who could have been great, who is not even a fraction of who they are because they chose to consume too much alcohol. That's why I'm really happy my father trained me not to drink, even though he drinks a lot, or he, always did. And then also, I think good habits, like, forming that habit of exercising every day or something like that, that can really go a long way. It'll keep you alive longer, and you live a healthier, wealthier life that way. So I would encourage you to think about your habits. Habits, which are connected to the subconscious mind, literally is one of the greatest determinants of what kind of person you are and what your outcomes are going to be in life in general, right? So I don't know. I think a lot about that. So I'm really happy and proud that I have the habit of getting up and exercising. I don't feel normal if I really don't. But anyway, all right. So a quick reminder, don't forget the All Black National Convention is starting soon. It's going to be, I think we're about 3 weeks away now, and it's going to be in Atlanta, and it's the largest gathering on earth of intelligent Black people. And I can't wait to see you all there. And we also just got some good news. We're going to have, we partnered with the National Business League, but one of the things I told Dr. Ken Harris, was I said, man, I said we really like to do stuff on Sunday too. So they like to end on Saturday. And so we were going to kind of do a lot of our stuff on Saturday. But actually, I'm going to stay until Sunday. And on Sunday, we're going to do kind of just an awesome VIP day for anybody that's hanging out, which meaning like we're going to cover stock options income. We're going to do an economic elevation circle, which if you were there last night, you know how powerful those are. We're going to do a RISE event, right, which stands for real estate, insurance, stocks, and entrepreneurship. The ladies are going to do that. Tierra Williams, Aisha Verzi, and some of the other experts. So literally, Sunday is going to be just a hell of a day. We got a space in the Hilton for the following day, in a VIP luncheon as well. So for those of you that are in the mastermind, stuff like that, if you want to sit down and eat lunch with me, we can sit and have the lunch and all these other things. Just as a special thank you to those of you that are really supporting the Black Business School. I appreciate every single one of you. So with that being said, this is an add-on, and we'll probably just add it on to your ticket just in general, and it's going to be literally a full day of Black power, Black economic intelligence, Black economic excellence. And don't forget that the thing about that I'm really proud of in terms of the space. Sorry, I'm looking for something on my screen. The thing I'm most proud of in this space is that you're not sort of like the average people. Like you're not just sort of getting along and surviving. Like a lot of you are really doing well, and a lot of you are really ahead of the curve. A lot of you are investing and just doing these amazing things that are going to make a big difference in your generational legacy. And I just want to congratulate you for that. I want to really, really let you know that you're going to really see the difference very soon. In fact, I'm going to pull up some data so you can really see how little things that seem little now, things that you're thinking like, oh, this ain't no big deal. This ain't going to change nothing, or I don't feel anything. You have to give it time. You have to compound. Compound interest is one of the strongest forces in the universe. Albert Einstein said that. He said, I'm really confused about finances because compound interest is stronger than gravity. He said that's the most powerful force in the universe. He said, I can't believe how little investing moves, little amounts of money being invested can literally make a massive difference long term. And I just say this to you as a financial scholar. I mean, this is an economic scientist. You have no idea how your little tiny behaviors are going to compound over time, and how it's going to literally create something that's going to be an epic explosion in the futures of yourselves and your kids. So anyway, if you want to join us at the convention, which I hope everybody will join us in Atlanta, August 21st to the 23rd, and now it's the 24th. We added that Sunday on there, a whole full day. I hope you'll make plans to stay through Sunday as well if you can. Bring your family, and it's allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. So thank you to the whole team for pulling that together. I really, really pushed them. I said, "Come on, I want an extra day. We got to have an extra day," and they did it. And it takes a lot of work. And the beauty of it is that we're funding this. Like the Black Business School's funding this. You're funding this. This is ours. This is 100% all Black. The funny thing is that there are so many people who don't believe that it's possible for Black people to do their own thing and to run institutions and stuff like that. They kind of think that we have to do what's a lot of the HBCUs do, which is depend on the government and white benefactors and corporations to sustain us. No, we operate conservatively. We keep a really slim budget. We don't spend outside our means. We're not trying to be white. We're not trying to go and spend 20, 30, 50 million a year. No, we keep our budget manageable so that we don't have to go begging and scraping and crawling and asking people for money when they're going to distract us from the mission. See, what you got to understand is that historically for Black people, the number one driver of Black oppression is money. It's money. They control the purse strings of everything you do. You got to go work for them. You got to go and beg, ask them for donations. You got to go and whether you want. I mean, I'm not making fun of anybody in this category because it's so this language is so inconsistent from what you hear so often. And I get it. I grew up. I don't know if anybody else grew up this way, but I grew up really believing that the only way a Black person can have power or success is if they are nice to white people and if white people like them. That's what I grew up believing. I grew up believing that if you do things that upset the white majority, bad things are going to happen to you. And I don't believe that now. And I say this with complete confidence because I'm a financial scientist. So I think about these things and I'm like, okay, the reason they're controlling you is because you are dependent on their money. The reason that they are able to rope-a-dope you is because you made yourself vulnerable. You got to the NBA, got that $100 million contract. Now you got your little white Jewish attorneys and everybody around you, your little white wife, and now they're scraping you for money, not because they're just horrible, hateful people, but because they know a sucker when they see one. They know somebody who doesn't have their self-esteem intact. They know somebody who's not prepared. They know somebody who ain't looking. I sat down with a brother in who played for the Utah Jazz, and I have a lot of respect for him. He actually held a whole all-Black event in Oklahoma City. And I flew out to the event and he invited me to be the keynote speaker and I had breakfast with him and I was super impressed with this guy. He's like 7 feet tall, super tall, and he had a lot of money. And he said, people don't know how often that NBA players get taken advantage of because they assume that because you're young and you're distracted and you're caught up in the bling and the booty, that you're not going to read the fine print. He said, I went back to my financial advisor and I went down and I started wiping out all the fees. I said, you're not charging me for this. I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that. And he said that the guy was surprised because he didn't know that a young Black man would actually be observant enough that he would have enough financial consciousness. He didn't use those terms. I'm using those terms. He didn't know that this young Black man would actually look and say, like, what am I signing? Like, what am I actually? Because they were used to dealing with entertainers who will literally run and grab the ink pen and sign anything. The next thing you know, you're in a slave deal. You're in a slave record deal or whatever, or somebody's robbing you. So awareness, I agree with you, Antoinette. Awareness matters, and I didn't mean to sound extra. I know I know not everybody's on the same level of Blackness. Maybe some of us are a little bit intimidated by extreme pro-Blackness. I don't know, but that's how I feel. And it's not really an anti-whiteness. It's really more like I don't like us just being in last place all the time. I hate this idea, this assumption that we're supposed to always be the losers and we're the victims and we're getting beat up on and they're just taking advantage of us and they twicked us again. They keep twicking us. Well, maybe if you put down the Hennessy bottle and stop twerking for a minute, you will be able to see them coming through the back door taking all your damn money. Like, seriously, maybe if you valued education over basketball, maybe you'd be able to figure some things out. Maybe if you listen when I tell you, teach your kids about economics so they don't get robbed, then your kids will be prepared for the future. So I'm not yelling at anybody who isn't doing this. I'm simply saying to you, you're better than that. You're better than that. A weak person, a weak man or a weak woman is a person who is a product of their environment. If you are a product of your environment, unfortunately, that makes you the weaker class in this world. A strong man, strong woman gets to the point where they decide my environment is going to be a product of me. My environment is going to be a product of my choices. My environment is going to be a product of my preparation. My environment is going to be a product of my commitment. My environment is going to be a product of my willpower. My environment is going to be a product of my strategy. My environment is going to be a product of my leadership. So the question is, are you a product of your environment or is your environment a product of you? I can tell you, I'm fully committed to you come up in my house. Oh, everything in my house is a product of me. I don't even have to be there and you'll know that I was there. She'll say he put that up on the wall and he taught the kids this and he made sure that this desk was over there. My environment's going to be a problem to me because I'll be damned if you're going to have me born as a black man into a world where you're going to tell me that somebody else out there, some magical white man, is going to shape what my life looks like. You're not, you have no power to do that, sir. That's not going to happen. Now I get it. I'm 54. I have a PhD, so maybe that is or that drives some of my confidence. So I'm not here to belittle anybody, but I'm here to tell you that it's out there for you. I just want you to prepare, and I'm gonna give you some little steps that'll help you get there. Okay? I hope that that's okay. I didn't even plan to come in here yelling today, but that was on my mind, and since can't nobody tell me what to say, I'm going to just let it out. All right. So anyway, let me move on. Let me show you something. Let's lighten the mood, shall we? I want to show this again. I think this is funny because this actually links to the thing I want to talk about in terms of estate planning. Because we did a whole session on economic elevation last night, and a lot of you were there, and it was a lot of fun. And if you want to see the recording, you can go to economicelevationcircle.com. That's economicelevationcircle.com. And we're going to do an economic elevation circle on the Sunday of the All Black National Convention to really talk about economically elevating our families, family business meetings, things like that. Every family should have a family business meeting. So anyway, as you know, we did something. Because sometimes I got to lighten the mood because people be like, "Boyce, you too serious." And so we did the Black Business Babies thing. So I'm gonna start off. Some of you saw this yesterday, but I'm gonna play it again because even if you saw it yesterday, it's still cute. And here's what my team put together. I thought it was awesome. Here we go.
Today we're talking about something heavy, student loans, and why our big sisters are carrying the biggest load. My cousin told me Black women take on the most student debt. That's not fair. They study just as hard as everyone else. But here's the crazy part. They don't get paid the same even with degrees.
So they borrowed more money but earn less?
That's like buying expensive toys with allowance you don't get.
The wage gap means less money to pay back loans.
It's like getting smaller allowances but having bigger chores to do. Some of our big sisters are paying loans for 20 years or more.
That's like paying for a toy until I'm old enough to drive.
Knowledge is power, even for us babies.
Thanks for listening to our Real Talk podcast. Stay informed, stay empowered.
Today.
Okay. All right. So that was kind of like a cute little way to kind of have a fun and funny and important conversation, right? And on that episode, they were talking about student loans, which we know is one of the greatest killers of Black wealth. These universities are eating through your Black wealth like it's crazy. Most universities, and the way you can tell the difference is you see one group contracting, one group expanding. It's like if somebody, you ever see a movie where the villain is sucking the energy out of the hero and the hero gets weaker and the villain is getting stronger? Well, basically, that's what's happening economically. You're getting weaker. They're draining your economic energy. Money is energy, and they're getting bigger. Universities are becoming these massive behemoths. They're buying up entire city blocks. They're able to gentrify entire neighborhoods. And in many cases, these are Black neighborhoods. So they're literally gentrifying your neighborhoods by selling you the dream that the college degree is going to change everything for you. So now what happens is you get people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s that are still paying student loans. And many of them, if you allow them to give back their college degree in exchange for the debt being repaid, they would happily do that. So remember, the student loan thing is pretty significant. It's something to consider. We're not anti-college. We got the little one going to Tuskegee in a few weeks. I'm super excited. I can't wait to meet the president and everything else. He's coming to the All Black National Convention, and so I'm very pro college. But we kept those costs down. Even though I can afford to pay a tuition bill, her mother can afford to pay a tuition bill, her father can afford to pay a tuition bill, but none of us wanted to pay a tuition bill because we want to preserve wealth in order to be able to give them some real assets as they move forward in life. Okay, so here are. Now what I want to do is show a quick little video. So I thought the babies would be a way to like lighten the mood because when I get all Malcolm X, it scares people, and I got Black people that are scared of me. You think I'm a scary person? I don't think I'm scary. I got a round little chubby face. My teacher, his name was Mr. Bryant in high school. He looked at me. He said, "You look like you wouldn't hurt a fly." He had a little sugar in the tank, but I loved him though. He's a great guy. He'd be like, you look like you wouldn't even hurt a fly." And I think it's because I have the chubby face. So my thing is like, I don't understand this. Really don't get it when I meet good, smart black people, and it's like, and there's like a fear. You ever see that where there's just like this fear of like being honest about just what we're dealing with and what it's going to take to really make it work, right? And it doesn't mean that we have to disavow each other. I think that we can support each other, but we have to be honest with each other. And I don't think anybody feels like this whole integrationist black people working for white people thing is really working. Also, we know that the generational wealth is sort of falling out the door, right? And I hope that we can agree on that. And I hope that my being rough around the edges doesn't throw people off, because I know sometimes it does. Oh, buddy, I've been in some interesting little controversies, but let me share something else with you. I put this on my Instagram. I put a lot of interesting stuff on my Instagram. My Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance, by the way, and I put this video up. Why? See, I lost the screen. I put this video up that I wanted you all to see as well, and I put it up this morning, and I literally called it, 3 things you need to do before you die. And I did it this morning. I'm literally wearing the exact same shirt that I'm wearing right now. Shout out to the Hoosiers. That's where I met my beautiful wife. I met my wife in the library of Indiana University. That's also where I proposed marriage to her years later. And it was one of the most magical moments of my life. Like, I literally saw her across a crowded room, and like, she was the prettiest thing I ever saw. And so anyway, that's why that's my connection to Indiana University. And I taught finance there for a little while. But anyway, here is a video, and it's called 3 Things You Should Do Before You Die. And it is a lot of times powerful information can be shared with very simple videos. This is less than 90 seconds. And I think if you implement even half of this, it's going to make a difference. So here we go.
Hey, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm a finance professor. I taught at Syracuse University for 13 years. Here are 3 things you should do before you die. Number 1, you need to set up a revocable trust. A revocable trust means that your assets are protected in an entity separate from you, which allows you to transfer assets to your kids without going through probate. Number 2, make sure the life insurance is paid up and caught up. Life insurance is a powerful tool for wealth transfer. That is how you get money across generations. Your kids should not have to struggle because you've already struggled your whole life. Why would they inherit the struggle from you? Number 3, the kids should not be the beneficiaries directly on your assets. You can allow the trust to be the beneficiary and allow the trust instructions that you give in the trust to decide what's going to happen with those assets when the kids get that money. Because let's just be real, kids are a little bit goofy and they make crazy mistakes, and you don't want all your hard work to disappear because your son got a girlfriend and wants to spend all his money flying her out to Puerto Rico. So anyway, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Put the word legacy in the chat, and I will send you a free estate planning checklist from the Black Business School. We got you. Millions of people we're helping to do this because it's really important. So type the word legacy in the chat. I'll send the information to you now. Talk to you soon.
All right. So let's go through that really quickly. First off, the word legacy in the chat, if you put it in this chat, it's not going to work. You have to do that on the Instagram platform. So I see everyone's putting the word legacy in there, and I love that. I love the fact that we're talking about legacy and stuff like that. But just know it's not going to work if you put it in the chat that you're in now. It's not going to work. So my Instagram, which is Dr. Boyce Finance, if you go to Dr. Boyce Finance and put the word legacy, and you can put it under any video, any comment, anything, and it'll send you that link directly to your DMs. Also, what I'll do is I'm going to text it out to you via text. So if you're on the text list for Money in the Morning, you'll get it there as well. So if you're not on the text list, just text the word morning to the number 87948. Text morning to 87948, and I'll send it to you. And then just to make it even easier, I'm going to try to find it now and give it to you in this chat too. So you can just have it here as well. So you get it 3 ways. All right. So I'm going to put it in here right now. Right now here, let's talk about this a little bit in more of a fine tooth comb. One thing I'll tell you is I spent a lot of time thinking about my estate plan. A lot of time, and I'm gonna tell you what the honest reflection was and what was happening. First thing is, has anybody ever seen this where if you start talking about death, people think that you're dying and they don't want to hear it, they don't want to think about it, they don't want to talk about it? Anybody go through that? You try to talk to people about where things are, and they're like, "Well, what are you trying to? You want me to die? Is that why you need to? Or they just don't want to. They think that not talking about it means it's not going to happen." Death is very unpleasant. It's very difficult to talk about transitions. And so these conversations don't happen, and then somebody dies, and next thing you know, it's like putting together a Scooby-Doo mystery or puzzle pieces where you're going through trying to figure out where everything's at, what policies they had, what the passwords are, how to get access to things. I still remember when Kevin Samuels died suddenly, and for weeks, even months, there was nobody even using his YouTube channel. And the thing was, his YouTube channel was probably making $1 million a year. So you had this multi-million dollar asset that was being unutilized, that was being thrown away, poor, passing over opportunities repeatedly. No one could actually use this thing to continue to generate income for the family. And YouTube sending checks to his address, and there's no plan. I wondered. I'm not sure what their plan was. I don't know, have inside information, but I wondered what their plan was to make sure somebody was still going to financially benefit from this channel that's making all this money. And so my point is to say that when people die, there's kind of like this void where, a lot of wealth gets lost, because when you're here and you become kind of the walking institution. You're the one who's where the buck stops with you, and you're handling all these different things, and a lot of things nobody even knows about. And so I would encourage you to not just consider the estate plan, but also documentation of important parts of your life, especially on behalf of the people that you care about. So like I told my wife, I said, okay, there's a black bag that has a bunch of stuff in it with insurance policies, the trust, stuff like that. If anything happens to me, just go to the black bag. Just go to the black bag, go to the black bag, go to the black bag. Make it really simple. And that way, at least a big chunk of what you have will be saved and protected and stuff like that. Also, the idea of not leaving the kids as beneficiaries comes in. It matters in two important ways. One is by avoiding probate, and you avoid all those legal expenses and the time required to get everything through. I talked to an attorney in DC, an estate planning attorney, who said that she said if Black people planned their deaths properly, she said we'd be out of business. She said we make $5 million a year, just basically solely off the fact that people don't plan for their death. Like, that's literally what she said. She said literally the fact that people don't plan makes us $5 million a year, and that money's coming from their families. It's coming out of their kids' pockets. It's coming out of their family wealth. We don't want to steal from them. But if you don't prepare, then someone else is preparing to take advantage of your lack of preparation. You understand? If you don't prepare, then someone's going to profit from your lack of preparation. And so basically the question then becomes, what's it going to be? Am I going to make this other person rich that I don't even know, or do I want to prepare and make my children rich? I think that's really a decision that you have to make on your own. But I'm here to just sort of let you know how the game, how the game works. This is what it is. And even Prince, the singer Prince, I think he probably paid out $100 million in settling all the legal disputes that occurred due to a lack of preparation of the estate plan. So when I was planning my estate plan, a lot of people really worried about me. They thought I was dying because I talked about death so much. And I was like, okay, if I'm not here, I need this and this and this. And they're like, are you okay? Are you sick? And I'm like, no, I'm not sick. I never felt better. I'm planning to live forever. I've gone through the exercise. I've done the financial meditation, and I've meditated and imagined, what if Boyce isn't here at all? Like, what instructions can I leave in advance to make sure that things move smoothly, to make sure everybody on the team gets paid the following week, to make sure that the wife and kids are good, of course, to make sure that all this work we're putting in is going to have some impact. I like this stuff. I don't just record myself just for vanity. I do it for future generations. I want some kid 125 years from now to be sitting in class with us right now. I want our descendants sitting in this room. And if you're listening and you're from the future, God bless you. I'm doing this for you. I want them to be sitting in this room and saying, okay, I get it. This guy, what he was saying 100 years ago, it still applies now. Like, I want them to see it the way we read Souls of Black Folk, or the way we look at a Marcus Garvey and what Garvey was talking about 110 years ago. It's still relevant. It's still relevant. Right? Garvey, there ain't nothing that Garvey said that doesn't apply today. Malcolm said a lot of stuff that applies today. Malcolm gave you the whole political blueprint. He talked in 1962 in a way where he could have been talking in 2022. You ever hear some of his speeches about the politicians and Black economics and everything else? So we're just here finishing the job that they started, and I need somebody finishing the job that I'm starting, right? We need to have a relay race, not a solo race. You understand? So long story short, the legacy planning just means that I want to give myself access to immortality. I want you to have access to immortality. Immortality means accepting the fact that things will change. Like that song by Oleta Adams, everything must change, right? Beautiful song, right? Well, everything's going to change. You're going to change form. We're all going to drop dead. You're going to be underground collecting dust, and whatever it is you left on this earth is going to have some impact on somebody after you, and this is your big chance to structure what that's going to look like, and what that impact is going to be, and whether that energy is going to be wasted, right? There's so many times where somebody will work like a slave for 50, 60 years, make no plans, and then their child has to do the same thing they did. It's like the movie Groundhog Day. You struggled your butt off since you were a teenager, working every day for these white folks that ain't paid you the way you're supposed to be paid, and you die with nothing. And then your kids start over in the same slave chain that you started off in. That don't make no sense. They should be in a better position because you were here. The grandkids should be in a better position. It's easy to make the grandkids millionaires. It's easy to position them where they won't ever have to work for anybody. You just have to accept the idea that it's possible. That's the thing. A lot of people don't even believe it's possible. They're like, what are you talking about? Person can't pay all their bills without a job. Oh, there are people that do that. I don't know if you know that, but the people that make the most money in America are people that don't work. The people that really make the big money, they don't go to work every day. They no, that's for other people, right? So long story short, three big things connects to the estate plan, which should include a trust. Trusts are the best vehicle for transferring wealth from one generation to the next. There are trust experts out there. We have an estate planning program in the Black Business School. You can feel free to take a look at it. I'll send you guys a link. Make sure you're on the text list. Text the word morning to the number 87948. And also, if you join our Economic Elevation Circle, you get access to all that stuff for free as well. So just go to economicelevationcircle.com. You can bring your whole family. In fact, I told everybody in the Economic Elevation Circle, I said, look, if your family business meeting has more than 15 people in it, if you can get 15 of your relatives on board, like do it like a family reunion on a big Zoom, I will reward you by coming in and visiting with your family. I will do a special training, Q&A, conversation, whatever it is you want with your family. If you get 15 of your relatives together, you don't have to pay me a nickel. Just make an appointment with my team. I will come in and I will give you clout. I will give you status. I'll big up you. All this stuff, right? So then you can say, hey, I got Dr. Boyce over here. And I brought Dr. Boyce, and they'll be like, what? Did that? Yeah, you did do that. You did that. You did that because you allowed the environment to be a product of you. You're not a product of your environment. So you create the power, and I'm gonna come back you. I want to see you win. Okay. So that's one of the promises I made to the students in the Economic Elevation Circle. I know Jen's already taken advantage of that. Jen, I will be coming to your family business meeting. So let's work out that date and make that happen. Okay. So anyway, it's economicelevationcircle.com. That's the URL, economicelevationcircle.com. Here's a few things about preparing for the future that you want to understand. In addition to the trust and the estate plan, in making the trust the beneficiary, you think of the trust as a member of the family, and member of the family is disciplined. They're going to hold on to the money, and they're going to decide what the kids get, and it's going to be based on your instructions. So it's almost like your family is a company, and you're the CEO. And the trust is like the president of the company, or the person that reports to the CEO, and they do things according to your instructions. So basically, a lot of legacy planning. It's not about dying; it's about living intentionally and having clarity and having your impact last for a very long time. Also, a trust gives you control beyond the grave, which is a beautiful thing. Also, life insurance is the easiest wealth transfer tool that there is. Dr. B, can you put that in the chat? I'm not sure what you mean, Eric. I don't know what you mean to put in the chat, but there's that link again to the estate planning checklist. And then also somebody can type economicelevationcircle.com in the chat. That would help me. I appreciate that. That way y'all know my ADHD. If it gets triggered, I'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. All right. What else? Another thing is that when you talk about probate court is a terrible place where their goal is to drain as much money from you as possible, resolving your disputes. So when the mental health is not there and the preparation is not there, there are people who make money from that. So when you get to the point where there's not preparation and there's a leadership void, and then there's resources in the middle, then you're inviting a fight. You're inviting generational trauma to come into your family because all the kids and nieces and nephews and cousins all start fighting over the money. And then there has to be somebody that comes in and resolves the fight. And that's almost like a bunch of black folks pulling each other's hair out, and somebody got to call the police. Next thing you know, everybody's going to jail. And you don't want to have your legacy put in jail. You want your legacy to prosper. Also, when you have in most, actually 70% of all wealthy families lose all their wealth within one generation. 90% of wealthy families lose their wealth within 2 generations. So really the goal, the plan is that's in place is that whatever you work for and you accumulate, the plan by the government is for that money to just be out of your hands anyway in a generation and just sort of go back into the ecosystem. That's what the plan is. So if you want to overcome the plan, you have to have a plan that's different from the original plan. So if you make no plan for yourself, believe me, they have a plan for you. So the intentionality is really, really important. And also remember, legacy isn't just about money. You can also pass down systems. You can pass down ideas and concepts. You can write out, everything that you believe, your core values. Use AI to help you. That's fine. All right. And have like the blueprint. Like, this is who we are. This is our family. This is what we represent. This is what I believe. These ideas are important. I want you to keep these because that's really going to give guidance to the kids, grandkids, great grandkids in a complex world. The world is very difficult. The world is very complicated. So you really want them to have some sort of guidance to say, okay, well, I'm gonna do this because this is what grandpa would have done. Right. Or grandma was in Dr. Boyce's class 80 years ago, and this is what she read, and this is what she shared, and I'm going to apply this now. Think about it. Imagine if, like, we actually have Althea. I hope you don't mind me mentioning this. Althea might be here. I don't know, but she's like a great grandniece of Marcus Garvey. I get it wrong, but she's got she's got his name, right? And I'm like, that is so cool. You are related to Marcus Garvey. There she is. And so she can go to great uncle Marcus 100 and something years ago and get all the guidance she needs to know what kind of woman she wants to be. That's powerful. That's powerful. I mean, who wouldn't to Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X? Mine is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is a second cousin of mine by marriage. He grew up in the same city I was in, walked the same streets I walked, went to high school with my grandma. Oh, I tap into Ali all the time. Oh, you're the greatest? Well, I can be the greatest too. You fighting the oppressor? Oh, I'm gonna fight the oppressor too. Viet Cong never called me nigga neither, right? So I look at Ali as if he is still here. And I love the fact that he laid this blueprint of greatness that you can tap into instead of grabbing onto these other examples of mediocrity that you see in our society. You see so many people that just are a complete mess, that just are struggling, don't know who they are, don't know what to do next. They feel hopeless. They have the hopelessness, right? And I think that's what our leaders give us, is they give us like, oh, I can feel powerful. I don't have to feel hopeless. So the hopelessness, don't do that. That's not going to help you. The last thing I'll mention is that when you're talking about legacy planning and intentionality, that really is that differential between just having, like, a family tree versus having a family empire. And I'll end on this point. When I was talking just yesterday to a family, and they were talking about how they have their family reunion, and they have 140 people that come to the reunion. It's a big deal. They have a whole committee that plans it out. They stay in a nice hotel. They have a whole itinerary planned out. They have a banquet. They give a scholarship to people in their family. I said, the only thing you're missing is the keys to a family empire. I said, you've already taken the very bold step of organizing yourself and forming your family like it's an institution. That's really important for the kids. So then you took the really amazing step of taking action on these ideas. That's beautiful. Then you did something really awesome, which is letting the babies know how important education is, and you're supporting them. And you're not just telling them that it's important. You're putting your money where your mouth is. You got these scholarships you're giving out. Oh, that's amazing. The last step is jump into that wealth category, right? Just jump into that arena where they get to be economic power players, economic gods, and really shape their own destiny. Because if I tell a young kid, like, hey, make sure you go to school, work hard, so one day you can become a doctor, that's an awesome lesson. That's important. But I think it's really important to also make them understand how the healthcare industry works and who really has power in that profession, and make them understand how many doctors are very frustrated by the fact that they are trapped in a system that doesn't compensate them the way they should be paid, doesn't allow them to actually heal people and make them better, forces them to drug up the entire population for profit, and they're not even benefiting from it. So literally, doctors, unfortunately, are trapped as well. Even so, these are highly educated people. They're trapped as well and forced to violate the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm, by the fact that they're in an industry that is really controlled by the people who have the capital. It's the people who have the capital. They got the big billion-dollar bank loans and have the investors and everything else. They're the ones who are shaping how the industry works. Same thing would be true in Hollywood. Hollywood is not shaped by the actors and the directors and the producers. That's why they go on strike, because they don't get what they deserve. Hollywood is shaped by the people that control the capital, right? You go to any other industry, education, you name it, it's run by the people who have access to the capital. So what I want, that's why, in my view, the biggest power play for this generation and beyond is to understand capital, access to capital, who controls capital, how to preserve capital, how to grow capital, what capital looks like, why capital matters. A capital base is more important than a college degree or anything else that anybody else ever tells you to get. Sure, get the college degree, but get you some capital to go with the college degree. Now you're smoking. Now you're calling the shots. Now you're making things happen. It's ownership, 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 ownership. You have to own something. You don't have to own everything. You don't always have to be the boss. You don't want to be this solo person who has to be in control all the time. I'm not trying to make you a control freak. I'm just trying to help you understand what equity looks like and why you have people that appear to be powerful, but then they end up in these situations where they feel powerless. Like, how is it that my favorite entertainer who's world famous is upset because they're being screwed by the record label? But because the entertainer doesn't have the power, they're just the bright, shiny object on the stage. People behind the stage are the ones who actually have the power. You understand? So know where that power comes from, how that works. Pass that down to the kids. That's part of your legacy. But then you also have the estate plan and the trust and everything else, because you're implementing that, right? You just something as basic as a $200,000 life insurance policy, which for a lot of you won't cost a whole lot of money. Imagine how amazing your life is and how free you'd be if somebody just handed you a check for $200,000 when you were 25 years old. At that point, the world is your oyster. At that point, you're living your best life. You're traveling. You're thinking about deep, important thoughts. You're working on things that you enjoy. You're getting a chance. Your task each day is to monitor your investments. You're having family business meetings on your next economic move. You're sort of operating from a position of power as opposed to a position of sort of being slapped around by somebody else's power. Oh, I don't want to go to work today, but he told me I got to work an extra shift, and groceries are expensive, and I can't. And that's what, unfortunately, that's what a lot of people are going through. And I want you to just know how to get away from that and how to make sure that your kids never have exposure to that. If you prepare early, if you start investing for them when they're young, it's a wrap. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to show, but actually before I go, I got to show you this. This is something else. I put random stuff on my Instagram as it comes to mind. And so this is because this is inside the weird mind of Boyce Watkins. I just see stuff and think about it, and I'm like, "Ooh, this is good." All right, so I'm gonna share this. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. Actually, before I do this, because I've gone like straight Malcolm X and I've gotten too serious, and I'm learning how people are intimidated by my seriousness. I'm gonna show you something funny, then I'm gonna show you something serious. Y'all ready? So we're gonna do this. We're gonna try to. I'm gonna try to balance it out a little bit so that y'all don't, so we don't get overloaded with like, me curling my brow and pointing and stuff. All right, so let me show you this. I thought this was just funny. All right, so this is some white girl. I don't know who she is, but this video was funny. So here it is. So this is McDonald's workers be like. I don't know. Tell me if you've seen this. This is hilarious. Look.
Oh, psych.
We shouldn't be eating at McDonald's, but I thought that was fun. All right, so I did a breakdown. Check this out. Okay, so first off, let me start before I show you this. This is awesome, I think. How many of you have at least one bill that's more than $400 a month? Let's say two bills. In fact, let's do three. Let's go to three. How many of you have two or three bills that are more than $400 a month? All right, put a yes in the chat if you do. All right. Most of you say yes. Okay. All right. And what someone said no. Good for you. Good for you. All right. Good for Michael McNeil. God bless you, man. That's awesome. All right. So here, check this out. So imagine if you just took care of your family as well as you're taking care of the person that you're paying this $400 a month to. And I want you to just see how much wealth gets accumulated from just that little 400 a month. You're not even thinking about it because we're usually thinking in the short term. We're not conscious enough. We're not financially conscious sometimes to think about the long-term effects of what we're doing. So we just pay the $400 bill every month, a car note, whatever it is, rent, all that stuff. But imagine if you did as much for yourself as you're doing for the car dealer. Here's what happens if you invest $400 a month and you just put it in the S&P 500. That's $100 a week. If you assume the average annual return to the S&P, which is 10%, this is how much. So after 10 years, you have $86,873. After 20 years, you have $312,199. So you're filled here at 86,000. You're doing well. And after 20 years, you're filthy. You're pretty rich. 30 years, 896,000. 40 years, 2.4 million. 50 years, 6.3 million. 60 years, $16.5 million. So basically, these numbers are a reflection of maybe a vision that you may want to consider for your family estate plan. The thing about a trust is that if you structure it right, you can have a trust that will simply take a certain amounts of money and just do the same thing over and over and over again. And sometimes wealth grows faster when you're gone than it did when you were alive because you're not undercutting yourself by spending all the money, right? Michael Jackson's estate grew tremendously after he died because if you remember, Michael used to spend money like crazy. It was bananas how much money he would spend. And so when he died, and the spending stopped, but the wealth was able to just grow, like just sort of uninhibited, like a plant where you're not picking at it. His wealth, I think he's actually far wealthier now than he was when he was alive. I got to double check the exact numbers, but so the point is to say that when you're talking about even little amounts of money that you're not thinking about, just know that that's wealth sort of passing right by you. A lot of you have bills that are over $400 a month, and you've been paying those bills consistently every month for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, some of you. I'm not saying do something different. I'm saying just pick a bill for yourself. Like, okay, I'm going to put this 400 in the account for me, for us, for the family, because that's the most important institution I'm affiliated with. The family is more important than my job. The family is more important than the car dealer. The family is more important than the landlord. And so I'm going to pay this first, and then I'll pay everyone else whatever's left over. Right? If you are able to do it, if not, you work on it or you do what you can until you can do what you want to do. All right. All right. So now, anybody who has questions, I see some of you asking questions about things like life insurance, stuff like that. We actually at the convention, they're doing one other event they're doing on Sunday is a RISE event. RISE stands for Real Estate Insurance, Stocks, and Entrepreneurship. Tierra Williams and Aisha Verzi are going to basically drill into that. They're going to talk all about IULs, whole life, term life, anything you want to know, and not just break it down, but also give you opportunities if you want to sign up with them. I think Aisha does some of that stuff, and Aisha's great. She helps support the Black Business School, and I love her, and I have a lot of respect for her. And then also they'll do some digital RISE events as well. So if you want to dig into that stuff, if insurance is your thing, then I'll send you guys a text link when they have another meeting, and you can literally go in and talk about insurance until you're blue in the face. And personally, what do I do with insurance? I like term policies, not because I think whole life is bad or that IULs are bad. It's just you can't invest in everything. So what I do is I can either pay this much for whole life, or I can pay this much for term and then take the difference and put that in my stock portfolio. And that's what I choose to do because, when you have a doctorate in finance, you know a little bit about investing. So I don't really need someone to do it on my behalf. I can kind of handle it on my own. So I hope that makes sense. All right. So last little thing, if you want to join us at the convention, it's in Atlanta, August 21st, now through the 24th. We added the bonus day. Which is kind of pretty much a Black Wealth Day for the most part, then please go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. And also later on today, we're gonna at noon Eastern, we're meeting for stock market class, the Stock Market Investors Club. So if you want to do a free trial and join us today at noon, just go to drboystockmarket.com. That's drboystockmarket.com. I'll go ahead and put I'll send you all another invitation to that later on today. All right. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. And, oh, last but not least, if you didn't get the estate planning checklist, just go to my Instagram, Dr. Boyce Finance. Type the word legacy in the comments on any video, and I'll send it to you in your DMs as well. All right. Talk to you guys soon. See you tomorrow.